LA.
No, I'm good, man. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not the kind of guy who just becomes racist.
The fairness of your skin is asking you to at least investigate.
Wow,
is this true?
You hear that, guys?
Real falling?
Are you hear that, guys? He's being racist towards a white guy because you can totally be racist towards white people.
Isn't that?
I'm mixed,
didn't you guys?
so you know.
Didn't you pasty motherfuckers dub that reverse racism?
Yeah, nobody says that. I don't think though.
Nobody actually. I hope people don't believe in that.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm just saying.
Reverse racism really.
Damn, yo, who's selling drugs right now?
I guess it depends on the perspective. I mean, reverse racism happens in the Latino community.
I got 2 rounds.
You got 2 what?
Jay. Yeah, Jay, how do you feel about Mexicans?
2 scones?
I love them. They're my Latino cousins.
See, he's probably one of the few Puerto Ricans you'll hear say that.
I'm not gonna lie. People be talking bad. I'm not gonna say Mexicans be talking shit, but they don't like how y'all only speak slang. They think it's fucking weird.
I don't talk about Mexicans. All they do is speak slang. Everything they say is a slang word.
Nick, what's up, man? We didn't say hi.
Everything a Mexican says is slang.
You know, I've been listening to it, and as I've been asking questions, it is, and it's just like, oh, y'all trying to be Spaniards. You're not Spaniards. You too dark to be Spaniards. Nobody wants to say nosotros. It's fucking stupid.
You kidding me? They don't talk fucking slang. Órale, wey.
Everything they say is. They fugazi, bro.
Hey man, you want to start the show, or are we just going to do racial stereotypes? Huh?
Pick a dialect.
The show is already started, my friend.
Hey, pinche way. Let's do it. Okay.
We always start the show like this.
We do it real slow and kind of stereotypical, and then we pick it up más rápido. Arriba. R.I.P. to Speedy Gonzalez, because that was such a cool character growing up, and then I have to be an adult and they'll be like, you know, he's a racist? And it's like, well, he's not a racist, but I see what you mean.
You dang varmint.
You know, they're all worried about Speedy Gonzalez and all these other mascots being racist, but they don't realize that Walt Disney is cryogenically frozen in some chamber hundreds of meters below the earth near the Disney complex, waiting to strike back against the Jews. He really did not like Jews.
I'd like to think of him in like a Zordon kind of tank. Where he could like astral project his being onto a screen and like tell people what to do.
This man like Zordon.
Right. It's like Ron DeSantis is like sitting at his desk and you like find
hell no. Disney and Ron DeSantis don't get along.
No, that's what I'm listen. Like DeSantis is just like sitting at his desk, like doing like writing in the bill that like targets Disney, and like fucking like Walt Disney like astral projects into his office and they start having like a chicken versus Peter Griffin fight.
Sorry, you gotta start doing sit-ups,
I can see it now. I can see Walt Disney assembling his fucking team of writers. Writers.
Which is
we must come up with another $1 billion idea and exploit somebody else's history.
That's like every corporation, though.
Yeah,
that's right. But it was us first.
I'm going in the right direction.
All right.
You need to watch your ass, a mouse. I'm gonna come out, jump up in there and squash you, huh?
Welcome to the fucking.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't, dude, Macho. I'm gonna ask myself the same question.
What's going on? You know what? I heard Mickey Mouse and then Super Mario Brother movies, despite it having to do like being a movie about nothing, essentially, did really well. And I just want Disney to fail a lot more so it finally starts being great again.
Orlando's one of the few places.
Super Mario movie was good. I liked it.
Orlando's one of the few places where I heard people call Disney the gay mouse.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers was a pretty good fucking movie.
Well, Florida is a unique state in that regard.
Yeah, people are pretty fucking dumb down there. Besides Jay. Jay's pretty smart.
You think it's
that's because I'm not from here, so that's why.
Well, I'm from New York, so
I was gonna say the same thing. It's kind of like the people, they're not New York,
not New York.
They just lack
people are dumb down there because they don't have as good as a fucking education system, dude. Florida schools suck dick.
I think it's
I
better
would
than
never
New York's
want to
fucking-
send my kid to a Florida school.
It's way better than New York's fucking.
Now, actually, Florida schools are pretty good. They're better than
They're
Connecticut
better than
schools. I
New
told
York
you that.
schools. New York diplomas, first of all, are worth the most out of any other diploma in the entire
Because it's
fucking
New York.
country.
It's fucking
Second,
New York. That's why. Go to a Bronx school.
and
You
not to
learn
mention
nothing.
Common
You learn
Core
nothing.
students who enroll in
First
New
of all,
York
that's
Common
because New
Core.
York makes it easier for you to fail. So they make the curriculum that much fucking difficult.
They not only make it easier for you to fail, but they cover topics that other states don't even cover. Dude, my girlfriend took honor stuff and like AP stuff.
Yeah, meanwhile, Florida's over here
Banning what? You cut out there.
banning topics like slavery and racism.
Well, that's what I mean.
cut
So
out.
you can't. No, I heard that part. You like cut it. You didn't cut out. You just kind of lagged. But no, that's what I mean. You can't say that Florida people are smarter when they're literally sitting there banning fucking topics of education. That's regression. That's not.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
but
might
that's
not be
not-
smarter in books.
I'm not saying this.
How good are they at tilling the
Smarter.
field? You know?
Oh no!
Different
I'll give you
places.
that. I'll give you that. Florida has a huge migrant population that they fucking despise.
Florida hasn't shot an iconic gorilla.
But
They
at
have,
the same time, too,
They-
Florida also has a
What?
great mechanical industry. A lot of
Did you
people
say
down in
what?
Florida.
Yeah.
What?
Not you. The other.
I think
What?
the education system is better. I just doesn't mean that
It's
people-
not, because statistically, New York is one of the highest rated students out of any other state in the country.
I don't know what fucking year you're talking about. That's right. Like 2 years. Everybody I know hasn't even made it to college. I'm the only one that went to college. I fucking like 800 people I met in my lifetime from New York. Everybody I know from New York is fucking.
I went to
retarded.
Harvard for 1 semester, and then I punched the dean in the face and quit.
I'm only talking about the Bronx.
You know what?
I didn't know it was the dean.
Actually, this is one of the
Intriguing.
times where, Wikipedia Darby is going to actually admit he is wrong. You are correct. Florida does have a better rate of educational system than New York. However,
I told you.
I seem to,
No, my
I
son
seem
was-
to have met a lot of. I seem to have met a lot of dumb people when I was down there.
Well, you know what? There's just generally speaking a lot more dumb people.
I'm just saying. Listen, I had that feeling that their system is better because my son couldn't fucking read for fucking 2 years. He came here in 2 months. He's fucking
I don't know.
reading the fucking dictionary.
It just feels like I was surrounded by a lot more intelligent people when I was in New York rather than when I was in Florida.
Because you was
Then again,
in Buffalo. That's where all the smart people go.
but how's Buffalo better?
Bro, but it's not just New York because it's Connecticut too. Like,
Connecticut,
yeah,
my
it's
daughter
Connecticut
is
is
one of the
Connecticut is
highest-
called Connecticut.
no matter
Connecticut
how
has the
hard she
second-
tried, she just couldn't get that school shit. in
Connecticut has the second
Like,
best
they
public
weren't-
school system.
They
in the
weren't
United
doing something.
That's
to
not true. They-
stimulate her.
Because
Right.
Connecticut
They, you
wants
know,
to be just like New
States.
York.
According to
Yeah,
World
but
Population
Talon-
Review,
There's a big ass decade of a gap, almost 2
I sent it in the show notes.
decades of a gap between my daughter going to school and you going to school.
It's not even that. We moved from
It's 3 decades.
Connecticut to Florida, and the curriculums that Connecticut was on, Florida was way past that when she got here.
Yeah, she had to
That
catch
could
up.
just be your
Way
school
past
system.
that's
that.
because you
And
should
in
just, you just
kindergarten,
homeschool.
you
You
learn
homeschool it, get rid of homework,
Too.
and emulate
Florida
the
doesn't
thing.
have a state curriculum.
Hey, wait, hold on for a second. Could you guys stop talking about the school system?
What you mean?
Like,
What you
I'm pretty,
mean?
I'm pretty sure
What
all y'all went to public school, right? Everybody here went to public school.
Yeah,
So you already know not to compare the schooling system. What the fuck is that?
All public schools
You
are better.
comparing-
I was
It's kind of
making
like
the
the
point.
sewage system in public health. You know?
Yeah, Dre's
You're
right. 'Cause
comparing public schools,
their public schools like New York's private schools.
but it's not about that. It don't matter what state you're in. Public school is public school. You comparing the school system for Connecticut to New York, like you know the best private schools.
well, really, Macho was comparing a private school.
I went to a school that was nothing but fundies and rich people because we lived
I
in
would
the
say
suburbs.
Florida's private schools. Florida's
Yeah.
public schools is like New York's private schools.
Yeah,
I went to
well,
the school of hard knocks. So,
Buffalo,
you know, I'm a
Buffalo
little
had a
deep.
ton of public schools. We actually barely had any private schools. Buffalo, mostly
Yeah.
Catholic schools were private.
They definitely have private schools. I just didn't know.
It was mostly Catholic schools that were.
They're
private.
just so private you don't know about it.
No,
Only
like
tax bracket.
there's plenty of private schools you don't even know exist in your area.
I mean, who knows? When you say private schools, we could be talking about little Bible study. And after I work at one, I work at a school that is considered private.
I mean the schools that people who go and have $500 lunches would send their kids to.
And they don't eat it.
Like the kind of school that like you didn't know
My
that
friend,
was
you
a
think
school
Buffalo
building. You
has
thought it was
those?
for business.
You
or
think
something.
Buffalo has those? Buffalo don't have those.
Yes.
Buffalo has at least
Yes,
one
Buffalo
or two
has private schools that are like that.
for
I
sure.
doubt it. I really do. This city
You just
There's
doesn't
a lot
know
of
have
rich
it.
people that live.
You
Darby,
just don't know they exist.
I know you love your city. If you could just like find out,
Dude, my
like,
city
like,
is,
like,
my city
like a
is
Google
way
search.
too broke to have those kind of schools, man. I mean, unless they just don't give them any problems.
Buffalo?
well, I would
Buffalo is-
imagine they'd be utterly.
Bro, they got
Buffalo is broke as shit. Buffalo's had like no.
them.
Like,
They just
That
keep them away
doesn't
from
mean
people like
there's
you.
not a group of people that aren't broke there.
I think you just lived around.
We have a
Buffalo.
Any of us would have
Freemason
lived in Buffalo, they
population.
would have kept it from us too.
We have a huge Freemason population. Actually, I saw a bumper sticker that was an actual
I'm saying, it's all the
bumper sticker
rich-
for a
all the
local Freemason
Fuck the
lodge.
rich people live there.
You should next time you see one, just follow them.
I know you're not talking about fucking Freemasonry when fucking
I know where one lives.
Freemasonry runs rampant over here in Florida.
It's everywhere.
You know where one is? All right. By the end of the summer, I want you to know where 100 are. Okay.
Yeah, no, seriously. I know. On my way home from work, there's this dude who has a bumper sticker for the local Mason Lodge. There used to actually be a ton of Mason Lodges, specifically in the town that I live in. Specifically, there's one that is.
I've been meaning to try to get in one.
You know, Jay's gonna get butt fucked.
Well, that, depending on which
You know, I
lodge.
went to a
it is.
fucking flea market over here.
That's
I
what
went to a-
lodge means, depending on which one.
Orlando. You
You
heard
have to
Jason?
lodge the penis.
I went to
Yeah,
a flea
no.
market. And
I don't know. There's different kinds. There's like the butt
That's
fucking ones,
like
and then there's
Freemasonry.
other ones.
Well, there's like the skull and bones where you just gotta beat off in front of everybody until you're secret.
You probably got killed.
How does he know this?
Huh? You never? What do you mean? You ain't never seen the documentaries about that?
No, I'm just wondering. I'm just curious on your personal experiences, Tom. Maybe Talon's and Freemasons. You know,
Look,
Jay,
if
what
I-
kind of
If I
properly
was
you
in
produce
Skull
the
and
show?
Bones, you think I'd be on this fucking show?
Maybe
what are we-
Talon,
Jay,
maybe
what are we
Talon's
talking
a
about
second
tonight?
generation
He won't be
Mason.
talking. He won't be talking.
Nah,
it's not Mason.
nah. My dad ain't no boule nigga.
Right? That's not how that thing works.
I'm glad he's not, but he ain't no boule nigga. Fuck that.
So, Jay, what are we talking about tonight? Because
We talk about boule niggas. No.
Ironically enough, we're talking about the state of Florida.
Oh,
Just
God.
Florida?
I just moved back.
Just Florida.
Okay.
Just moved back from that state.
Florida.
From that state of being.
But like everything else, I'm pretty sure other states are going to follow suit.
I don't think they're gonna legalize bath salts, bro.
No, I don't think.
They're,
I don't,
they're
I don't
already
think,
legal.
I
Oh,
don't
you're
think
right.
New
In
York's
some
doing
states.
anything with trans people anytime soon.
Oh, you're right. I'll be right back.
Wait, stop whining. you
All I'm
big
saying
baby.
is tonight we talking CS/SB 254, Florida's
Is that a person?
treatments for sex reassignment. Stay tuned.
Let's work. Turn it down and listen to the experts. Gotta give a shout to the Talking Junk Network. Showing love, hosting battles, playing dope joints. The break room topics always staying on point. Never disappoint. We'll never need a makeover. We here for the takeover like Jehovah. Talking Junk break room take over on the podcast. Dropping bomb facts on demand like Comcast. Now drop a comment whenever they're going live. Hit the YouTube channel right now and go subscribe. Peace.
Talking Junk Network.
Where entertainment lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to
Your favorite rapper's favorite podcast.
See, this is why I like your show. You're very charismatic. You know the right things to say.
Welcome to the one and only must-see Friday night
Nigga, damn.
spectacular, the Break Room. We're live.
I'm mad you put that much energy into
tonight.
this episode.
He's
I know,
channeling
right?
his
That
announcement.
was weird, right?
That was good. That
We've
was
had,
awesome.
we've had some exciting shit come through this show over the past
That was
years. I don't know if I've
exhilarating.
ever seen you have that much energy, and I'm just a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Because he loves talking about trans people.
It's all
Because
right.
he is trans. You didn't know?
You know, I
Jay
figured-
is now Jay Netta.
I figured I'd throw all of that enthusiasm into the intro, seeing as this may be our second strike on YouTube tonight.
It already is, bro. The live's taken down. Ain't no-
What's good though? How y'all doing tonight?
Yeah, we're not.
Y'all
here to
see
talk
how they
about-
were calling out the Bidens in the on the news recently? You see that shit? Talk about getting strikes. I saw that shit. They're like, the Bidens are doing some shit, and motherfuckers need to investigate them niggas and accuse them,
I
prosecute.
mean, they've been doing shit though.
No, but like they were even saying in the press briefing, they're like, we just there's more. You're like, oh, and another Biden is
Yeah,
involved.
look
It's
how
just
much
like, what the
shit
fuck?
Trump's done, and look how much shit Trump's done, and then realize how nothing has ever came to him. The guy had secret documents that he was offering for
He
sale.
just got indicted. What are you talking about?
He got indicted, but watch nothing happen. Dude, he's rich and famous.
Wait. Nothing's going to happen, but you can't say, well, nobody says anything or nobody cares. He
Yeah, but
literally got
the
indicted.
worst that could happen to Biden is he gets indicted for something, and then it's just.
Yeah, but
I mean, I imagine he don't have crazy shit, but his family might. His son probably will go to prison just to make people stop paying attention.
That's not the real Biden number.
Some white collar
That's a
shit.
clone.
Yeah, ends up in a prison where you just eat fucking hot meals a day, and you get like a nice.
You just go out and
pad
do
mat,
yard
you
work.
get a computer.
That's
and
a
shit.
clone.
Yeah,
Biden
do
right
yard
there.
work. You got a fucking TikTok. You showing them how to make prison food and shit.
Yeah, what the fuck? You seen that shit too? That shit was blowing my mind. I was like, dude, how the fuck do you have a phone and TikTok in prison?
I'm not gonna lie though. If they did not know how to make ice cream before going in, and somebody just started doing that shit, that's kind of pretty. That's solid. Getting McFlurries and fucking
As long as
hell no.
ain't
Look at
canals,
the
keep
size
stretching.
of his phone.
People can put that in there, bro. That shit fits, Jay. That shit fits, bro.
No, the guards. It's as simple as the guards are getting the prison phones.
Yeah, right.
It's not that.
That's the easy way.
S21 note, and you better get that shit out without breaking the screen.
The guards is the hard way. Going through the guards is the hard way. The easy way is boosting that bitch.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but it used to be easier to
cell
move a phone. Them
That's
shits used to be small as fuck.
I heard you just bake a cake and you can put whatever the fuck.
Nacho, have you shoved a whole cell phone up your ass before?
Right.
Probably could. I don't know. That's not something I want to experiment
What do
with.
you do in your free time?
It's elastic.
Well, thanks to Jackass, I know you can swallow a Hot Wheels car and be okay.
Oh
He
yeah,
said-
Jay. I
he
heard
said
this
that's
one
the-
earlier, and I wanted to share it with you. Guess how many jacks are in a box?
That's the easy way, bro.
How many?
No, tell me. Guess the number.
You know why it's the easy way, Jay? Because you have to talk to the guard. You have to become friendly with the guard. You have to grab guard.
You do.
Why?
I mean,
just put some shit up your ass. And
Fucking
keep it
answer
pushing.
the question, you dumb fuck.
putting something up your ass.
How many jacks are in the box?
Answer. Say a number.
There should only be one.
You're one jack off.
Word. That was pretty good.
I was gonna say the answer is 0.
The answer is 0. Dre, what kind of jack in the boxes did you get as a kid?
There's no jack in a box.
Man, when Jack in the Box was around and shit, there was nothing in there but that stupid fucking little piece of paper. Like, oh, isn't this fun? Like,
What
fuck
kind of
you and your
Terrence Howard
fucking
math are
Cracker
you doing
Jacks.
over there?
Yeah, literally, it was like the thing you got in the box of Cracker Jacks. That's right, Tom.
It's like
I
a
don't know, Jay.
temporary fucking tattoo or some bullshit.
Guide us forward. I like those temporary tattoos, man. I once put one on my ass.
What?
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Me too.
He said,
It's probably still there.
There's a real one.
No, it's temporary and somehow won't disappear.
It won't disappear.
It's like,
what the fuck is this?
It's my temporary tramp stamp.
it's like the water boy. Remember that?
He's got the Cracker Jacks boy on top of his fucking ass like a tramp stamp. Anyway, what we talking about?
Yeah,
Fucking
Jay.
bullshit in Florida. What was it?
Keep-
So just a second ago, when we started, I said we were talking tonight about CSSB 254. In short, Florida Senate Bill 254, treatments for sex reassignment. It was just passed, and it is going to get signed and sent to the House. See if
Which will likely pass because of both the House and Senate.
if it gets passed there. But
DeSantis,
it's basically this is right now. I'm reading off of FloridaSenate.gov. And it says treatments for sex reassignment, granting courts of this state temporary emergency
Temporary.
jurisdiction over a child present in this state if the child has been subject to or is threatened with being subject to sex reassignment, prescriptions or procedures, providing that for purposes of warrants to take physical custody of a child in certain child custody enforcement proceedings. Serious physical harm to the child includes, but is not limited to, being subject to provision of sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures, prohibiting sex reassignment prescriptions and procedures for patients younger than the ages of 18, requiring the department to immediately suspend the license of a healthcare practitioner who is arrested for committing or attempting, soliciting, or conspiring, conspiring to commit specified violations related to sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures for a patient younger than the ages of 18, or etc.
So what they call it? They call it like child neglection.
Child
No.
endangerment.
They call it a child
If you
endangerment.
don't give the child something that he does not know.
No, it's
No.
it's
So
okay,
what they're doing is, if you have a young child,
yeah,
below 17 years
who
of age,
feels that they're a different gender, specifically a boy, right? Let's go there, right? If you have a young boy who feels like he's a girl and he wants to go through gender reassignment surgery, and he's 10 years old.
Okay, first, it doesn't matter if that's some type of law. That's just not gonna work out. First of all,
but there are people that are doing it. That's why the law was passed. It's being done all over.
You feed your child. Do you give your child what he wants to eat, or you just give him a meal?
A lot of these motherfuckers do. That's why we're in this predicament. They don't raise children. They just facilitate their existence.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But this is fucking nonsense, bro. This is just getting out of hand. It's nonsense, but I don't understand. Like, you control.
What's nonsense in specific?
First, specifically is nonsense for the fact that you are in charge of the child until he's 17 years old. So you decide what is good for this child. Now the child tells you, I feel like I'm a boy. You can feel whatever you want to feel like. But for right now, until you're 18, you are you're a fucking female. You feel me?
On top of that, too, there's also, like, so Macho, you're describing this one viewpoint that I like to point out. I don't feel this way myself, but there's this viewpoint where a parent who is dealing with this is like, okay, well, I believe that an individual should have the right to do whatever they feel like they should be able to do to their daughter or son. You know, I'm their parent. It's my kid. If I feel like that my kid might benefit from this, then why should the state stop me from giving my child this medical assignment? Like, opposite perspective, but same kind of idea. You know what I mean?
How does your child benefit from?
No, that's
exposing. I know. I'm just saying.
I agree.
How does
agree.
How does your child benefit from, like, showing his?
Because the parent might just feel like
it's
I'm saying regardless of whether or not it's actually a benefit or whatnot. I'm just saying the parent is the owner, the quote unquote owner of that child, right? So if they feel like that's better for them, guardian. But like, still, your point is, how much should the state have a factor in deciding our children's welfare is really the question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like mutilation of genitalia and an irreversible surgery is a good one to step in on.
I mean, it's not. It's nowadays. It's not irreversible, by the way. But I get your point.
Not to a certain
what's
extent, I could see where this bill has the right thing in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you should make that big ass decision until you are of age, and not just 18. Maybe even take it a step further and make it 21. You know what I mean? If you shouldn't be able to mutilate yourself in a fucking non-reversible way if you're not even able to drink. You know what I mean?
But American 21 years old to drink is purely an American thing. A lot of other countries are like literally 16 or 18.
Yeah, our neighbors to the north do a lot better in education too. So
that's what I mean. Their countries do a lot better. So what the hell is really the point?
Angle.
What'd you say, Dre?
I said, don't use the whole being able to drink as an angle. like other cultures are all over the place.
That's a
right
habit. That's not sexual routine.
Shit,
That's
down,
not
in
even
fucking,
like.
down in the Caribbean, you just need to be 14. You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
habit, bro. That's not who the fuck you are. You feel me?
Right.
They're wearing their fucking. They're wearing their fucking.
Okay, so let me use this then.
On their wrist.
Let me use this then.
I think 18's a perfectly
You can't go and get a
normal-
piercing or go and get a tattoo until you're the age of 18
in New
without
York,
a parent's
18.
consent.
Down in Florida, I could get a piercing at 16.
What they're doing right now is taking away that parent's consent.
Well, that's the point. They're taking away.
I know.
So why would you be even a parent? First of all, you shouldn't be titled a parent if you don't have any say in none of your children's fucking things they do daily on a basic or with their life. So basically, now what they're doing is making you not the parent because now the child makes his own decisions. That's crazy. So what are you? You in a relationship? You're not the parent because if my son comes out right now and says, "Yo, I want to come."
Macho, check your microphone's connection or your headset's like connection. No, I'm hearing what you're saying, but right when you started ranting and getting louder, your microphone started cutting out a lot. It's like whenever you get
Okay,
louder.
I thought that was just on my end.
No, it's I'm trying to help
too
Macho
loud.
out. Like when you're quieter and you speak softer, you come in through just fine, but when you get louder, it starts cutting out.
And since when did 12-year-olds make like life decisions for a house? And people were like, "Oh yeah."
I mean, ask the child soldiers in Africa.
This is first and foremost, we're not fucking. And more importantly, Africa never had a choice in anything in life.
We don't tend to get a lot of those choices. I mean, that's the thing I was bringing up is like a libertarian point of view. Like in reality, if a parent feels like their child, like maybe their child's like is naturally more feminine than they honestly have always their entire life felt like they were always.
That's fine.
But like you know, and that's a strange fringe out there scenario. My question is where the like you know how much interference should the state actually have?
They should have just.
Well, when you have people,
hey, look, talk about your child being a certain way, because a lot of people might say, "Hey, we can tell something different about our daughter or our son." But when it comes to a sex change operation, that's not that shouldn't be in a conversation or even on the table.
Dude, honestly, I believe it should be like,
or even transitioning, because to be honest with you,
or the whole taking the pills, the hormones, and all that shit.
Right? Yeah, like wasn't there a show journeying a boy's transition into womanhood?
Jasmine said yes.
I think so.
Jasmine said yes. So
sounds like a TLC show.
They should.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, Jay, I have an idea. You know what, Jay? First, we're gonna go through each one of you. First, Jay, I want you to talk about why you agree with this bill.
There's plenty. Look, I got something pulled up right here.
No. I was gonna say, what do you agree with this bill, and what do you think could be a problem? That's the thing I'm going to go with. I want to hear it from each one of you. I want to hear all of your opinions.
What did you say?
What do you agree with this bill, and what do you see could be a problem? I want to go through each one of us. You know what I mean? I feel like that could be a good idea.
You want to do that right now before we actually discuss what's in the bill?
Well, Jay just said what's in the bill. Was Jay have more? Do you have more, Jay?
I'm pretty sure there's much more detailed information than explaining like the basics of it.
I don't think we need to go into his depth.
Well, if you want to, I see what you're saying, Darby. So we could just go into it.
Yeah, kind of like it just got like break off right into it. So that's why I'm just kind of asking Jay, like, pull up if everybody has ability to pull up the bill itself and look over it.
Because those bills be mad long too.
This one's not that long.
Like that's gonna take a while for us to read that shit.
While we do that, Darby, while we do, why don't I put this video on, these couple of videos that I have on right here of transgender persons.
Oh God!
Telling you how much they regret their transition. As I do that, Darb, why don't you pull up the bill?
Read off what you can. You already read the bill. That was the bill, man.
Yeah, but like Dre said, there gotta be. There's much more to it than that.
No,
and
from literally that's literally the bill. State bills are a lot shorter than government bills, man.
If you're reading it detail, like each line, you don't got to do all that.
I'm looking at the Florida government website.
Like that //
Darby, I'm saying you don't have to read the entire thing. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get everybody to hear. Well, I want to hear what everybody's opinions are, pretty much.
Are you showing the videos, Jay?
Yeah, pull up the videos, Jay.
I'll give one example per gender. How that sounds?
There's two. There's
No, we're never gonna end. It's never gonna end.
Darby?
I'm a biological
There's 400 of them now, Jay.
that medically transitioned to
There's 400
appear
of them now.
like a male through synthetic hormones
No.
and surgery. I will never be a man. Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that in a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're going to go, yeah, that was a woman, had babies.
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary
From the
embolism.
surgeries I got.
I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6
From
inches of hair
infections.
on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me,
he
including
didn't
the
go to
doctor
PR to
that
get
did
these.
this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects? And
Probably not.
Yeah, they wanted to let the kids decide this.
No, there's not. And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The
That's
truth is that
bullshit.
medical
You should have gone to a
transition
good
is
doctor who should
experimental.
have actually told
We
you about
have
the side effects of this.
studies
Any
that
good
said
doctor worth his salt
that
would have
medical
said
transition helps mental health. Helps mental
Doctors
health.
are only
It's
as
all been
good depending on
retracted,
your insurance.
modified.
Which isn't a problem with
Long-term
transgender
study
people. That's a
tells
problem
us
with
7 to
America's
10
healthcare
years
system.
is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
after?
But that's transphobic to say. For the first time in history, a
That's transphobic.
marginalized group has
Did
a
you see it?
huge dollar sign on the top of their head. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States promoting that.
Fuck is that?
What?
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery.
I thought he was about to
We
say
have
there's only 5
children's hospitals in the United States telling girls that they can be boys at $70,000 a pop in a surgery that has a 67% complication rate. That will
Okay,
kill
why is he
me from
showing?
infection that I can't sue on. We're butchering a generation of children because nobody's willing to talk about
Because
anything.
if that's not
I
population
have
control,
3
I don't know what is.
kids
World War One was a
at
good
the
one.
age that they're doing this to kids.
So was 2.
I'm not transphobic. I love my kids and I love other people's kids, and you should too. This is wrong on so many levels.
Can kids consent? Do you think kids are
No.
capable of consent?
No, they're not.
Dude right there, he
Being
be
a
destroying
parent
them, bro.
is loving the hell out of your kids and helping them see around corners.
What's that dude's name that was doing the interview?
Matthew Walsh.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a propaganda machine, but he's
But he's still a beast, though.
Great. I love how you
You've had the
said my point
surgery.
before you-
What does it feel like to miss your penis?
Hey,
I
hey,
100%
Jay,
was part of some cruel.
don't just play the video when a black man's finally getting praise in America, okay?
What?
What?
No,
Doggy was over here paying Dre a compliment. He was like, I love
Yeah.
how. And then Jay's like, loudest video ever.
First of all, I apologize. I didn't know that video was that
Nah,
loud.
Dre made a great point. That guy who was just in the video, he's a fucking grifter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really anything wrong with being a grifter, but he doesn't.
That's Dre's opinion, but I'm just
Who,
saying.
the guy conducting the interview?
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
offer
got a
anything.
lot of paid interest, if you will.
That's better. Like to be everybody's a grifter. We all
Yeah, but it doesn't take away from the person's story. Would you like me to play the person in another interview because he's in another interview?
No,
We're not
we're
taking away from the person's
not
story.
talking anything about his story. We're just talking about where his story is.
We just see through Matt Walsh and his angle.
No, I understand. Fuck the
He's just doing it. He's just doing it for the.
Yeah, the interviewer. I'm wondering who the interviewer is now too. Like, what kind of right wing fucking podcast bullshit are you?
Man, he just goes online and he just be.
He actually used to play Barney. He used to wear the suit.
Yeah, he used to. Who knows, dude?
Sure, he did.
Did you know Matt Gaetz molested children?
Can you go to that one that you gonna play?
Everybody knows that, Darby.
Oh, look, Selena.
Fuck Matt Gaetz.
Who's Matt Gaetz?
Florida House or Senate. Can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I definitely didn't know that.
But play the one he was gonna play, the loud shit.
He was convicted for it, and he's still running.
You've had the surgery. What does it feel like to miss your penis?
I 100% feel like I was part of some cruel medical and social experiment. I wish somebody hugged me a few years back and be like, you know what, you can present feminine, you can wear heels, hair, whatever you want, but the sad reality is we don't have technology to make you an actual woman. But they kind of like didn't protect me from myself.
I mean, I could not imagine giving away my penis.
That's not the one I wanted to play.
I think
the part that fucks with me is how many right wing people are like, homeless people or poor people make like just shitty decisions, and that's why they end up that way. That's why drug addicts.
I'll never have
my
breast back.
But suddenly people
The reconstruction
make the decision to cut off
will
their
do nothing
penis
for
is
me.
a problem.
What you said, Darby?
Yeah, I'm saying that a lot of right wing fucking angles say that like homeless people have a choice, like they made the choice to be homeless, or drug addicts made the choice to be drug addicts. You're right. So what the hell is so they don't give a shit about it, right? What the hell is the problem with people choosing to cut off their penis? Why is that suddenly a problem? You didn't give a shit about homeless people. You don't give a shit about poor people. You give a shit about wars and defense spending, but you suddenly give a shit about trans people because you're trying to make up this bullshit angle about protecting the children.
Yeah, but that's not what they're saying. That's not what they're saying though. They're saying they're pushing these ideologies on children too young.
I say.
What they're trying to say that though, because for the first time in history, all of these people who are marginalized groups actually get a say in these types of things. Dude, the civil rights movement was only the fucking 60s. Do you know how long that was ago? That's only less than 100 years ago.
Still a long time ago.
There's
not that long ago, dude, in terms of the
schools that
history
don't
of
even
humanity.
teach about all that though, and now it's becoming like push like, oh, these ideologies about sex and gender, which there are grown adults that still have no comprehension of that, yet children who still are learning the basic are like, you need to figure this out now. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Most people have never read or been in a philosophy course
Colin, I called you
or know
Stalin.
how to think. People don't know
I
how to
called you
think.
Stalin.
Listen, I'm talking here. People don't know how to think. People don't know how to act. They don't have control over themselves. But for some reason, these same people that have grown out of control, who now have power, we should just let, because they're in a place of trying to figure themselves out, or maybe they have, and they want other people to know, hey, you can be like me. That's great. But that doesn't mean that you need to put that idea and ideology as a main point for children. That is not necessary at all. And sex in general, it doesn't need to be pushed on children. If you want to have some type of present an inclusive education about all the different angles, that's fine. There's an appropriate level for that. And it's not under 10. That's for fucking sure. That's for fucking sure.
I agree with that. I never denied that part.
Aren't going to be capable of making decisions about your entire life at that age, because most people go their entire life not being able to make that fucking
before we get deeper. Right. No, absolutely. 100%. But before we get deeper into our thoughts, like Darby suggested.
Who the fuck is this, Jay? Appreciate your gender and don't make a decision without thinking it through. Dude, fuck that shit. It's not. Dude, Jordan Peterson is in the tags. Jordan Peterson is a fucking grifter.
I see that.
He's not a grifter, but he's an idiot for sure.
He's a fucking idiot and a grifter.
I'll never have my breast back.
How would you say he's an idiot though? Why do you think he's an idiot?
Why would I say he's an
What'd
idiot?
you say?
Yeah.
Did Macho ask
because
me
he tried making the comparison?
Well, my reasoning might be different from yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say my reason he's an idiot is because he tried making a.
Did you ask me that, Macho?
Yeah. I don't know who you're asking. Yeah, go ahead, Dre.
Oh, he's an idiot because he will speak on a major problem, right? Like the male-female relationship dynamic, but he's only going to focus on one aspect of it and make it seem like the other side of it doesn't really exist. So
or
it's
do no research at all.
Well, he knows what he's talking about, but he knows he's smart enough to not say this other side because people won't like that.
He's not, because I got the Slavoj Zizek interview.
He's a debate, but he's a master at debating, bro. Like,
no, he isn't, because Jordan Peterson tried debating Slavoj Zizek, and Slavoj.
I know who you talk about. That guy's a fucking beast too. He's younger.
Slavoj Zizek is a communist.
But he's younger. He's younger than him.
It's not really important for me.
Because
I was
Jordan Peterson tried speaking on communism, and he had no idea what Marxism and Leninism was. He's
None
never even read any of the
whatsoever.
books. He had no idea what it was at all.
There was this one time Jordan Peterson was talking about free speech, right? And he's on the side of free speech. You should be able to say whatever you want to say. And he's debating Michael Eric Dyson. And Michael Eric Dyson called him an angry white man. And Jordan Peterson was like flustered by this. He was like, "How could you say something like that?" It's like, dude, you're on the side of free speech.
He
and you're
is an angry white man.
I mean, I wouldn't even say he's an
But that's
angry
not free
white
speech. That's not free speech. You calling somebody out of the
Because he
game.
has no idea what he's talking
If you
about. He's
believe
an
in
idiot.
free speech, Mantra, if you believe in free speech, then you got to understand people gonna say some shit to you that you probably don't want to hear, but you got to just take it for what it is. It shouldn't fluster you in a conversation.
I believe free speech with respecting
fluster
the
you because it's
paradox
out of the
of
context of the
intolerance.
argument. So.
No, it kind of had nothing to do with the debate, but it shows you how fragile his mind was for him to hear something like that. And they were talking about like white.
Also,
people.
he's a hypocrite.
Why would he continue his,
I'll add on to this.
debate with the motherfucker? Well, this is another. Then let's get back into the show. We'll talk about that some
Yeah,
other
let's get back to the show.
Jordan Peterson episode.
I think this is I think this one tells the story I wanted to paint for the other side. Let's see.
This is a letter to young transitioners. If you are about to transition, especially if you are underage, please listen to this. First of all, you cannot change your sex. Take it from someone who has tried. You cannot. There's no such thing as trans periods. Trans women do not experience any of those symptoms. You won't grow a dick when you start T.
That's scientifically
you won't
wrong,
grow
and I
mammary
can prove
glands
it.
or ovaries or a uterus on estrogen.
They do
You will have to
experience
get
periods.
hormone
Wrong.
replacement therapy for the rest of your life, no matter how this goes, whether you remain
You can't get
transitioned or
therapy.
not, to stay on your path. The side effects are severe.
They can get
I
cycles.
feel like
That is
only
wrong.
detransitioners really talk about the harmful and irreversible effects of cross-sex hormones, but the side effects affect trans people who don't detransition as well. There are irreversible mental, physical, and emotional changes, most of which are permanent and more severe the younger treatments are started and the longer you undergo them. Some of these side effects include being permanently misshapen by muscle and fat redistribution, which causes disproportionate features. This literally means being the wrong shape forever. And being disproportionate causes clumsiness and even
fucking
chronic
crooked dick.
pain. And because your original
What the
frame
fuck's
might
the
not
wrong
be able to
shape?
support
Bitch,
the
you
new
the wrong shape.
distribution
Look at
of
you.
muscle and
No,
fat.
like if you
There's
can
no
be described
treatment
as
for this.
amorphous, that's the wrong shape.
Another severe side effect is infertility. I didn't care about this until it was too late. I was swindled by the idea that it didn't matter or that I could freeze my eggs, a mere $150,000. And now I might not be able to have my own children, severely limiting my dating pool and my future altogether. On top of losing your fertility, your sex drive will change with hormones, and that's not even mentioning surgery. It might become crazy or it might go away completely, but it will be unstable. Sex will be different
She's
forever
got
as well.
I
If
got
you are
paid my
FTM,
ninjas
it
for
will
to read the
hurt
script
badly. You won't be able to self-lubricate. Your enlarged clit will be too sensitive and painful to touch, and eventually atrophy won't allow for penetration.
She's fucking telling us
You
about
will
herself, bro.
never get off of the conveyor
Bro, it's
belt.
almost like you
It will
didn't read
keep
the
going
warnings
and
before you
going, and
started,
more
and
of
now
you
you're
will
mad.
be mutilated
Perfect
and
top
chopped
comment.
off and incinerated until the old you is gone, and you still
Buyer's
have to
remorse.
deal with all your original problems and traumas. This is just in a different body that
That's
isn't
exactly it.
functional anymore. Transition is not a cure for puberty. It's not a cure for feeling bad about yourself.
That's medically wrong.
No
but
child
okay.
is born in the wrong body.
Very
Permanently
rare, but yeah.
medically altering your body won't bring you peace or euphoria.
She's right, but she was talking about herself.
No, she's talking about herself, but I
She
feel
wasn't
like
talking about herself because she made some points for the other side too. Like if you are a man transitioning into a woman's body and you cut your dick off, turn it inside out, all you're doing is putting a hole in your body. And to keep that hole from healing and closing shut like the body is supposed to, you have to forever and a day keep something inside of you. And when you go and you try to have sex or stick something in that hole, it's painful,
It's not self lubricated because it's still fucking raw. It's fucking not
It's
you.
fucking
It's unfucking
sadism.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's listen, what Darby was saying, he was like they can get trans period, but actual periods they can. I don't know what the fuck is a trans period.
No, they can get periods. No, literally.
No. You need ovaries.
I've met a trans
You need
person
ovaries.
who
No,
had
you need
periods.
ovaries to get a period.
And they have gotten
your
Bro, they
ovaries.
don't get periods, bro.
transplants.
No, human body works.
Oh no, you can't. They're not functional. How the fuck they gonna work?
They're gonna
Because they
take
can
you
be
to
functional.
Dead ovaries in there? No.
They have
Yeah,
to
they
take
take all of that out, bro.
immunoblockers for the rest of their life because it was a transplant procedure.
No,
But
I don't have a.
It's a cycle that happens to the women's fucking every month. It happens. The ovaries.
That's an extreme gender reassignment procedure. But no, they did have eggs and they were fertile and they had to take birth control to regulate their hormones because they'd actually taken extreme birth, like an extra strength birth control.
I haven't seen this.
This is one of my friends I met back when I was.
Are you talking about Mr. Garrison?
Wait. What are we talking about? Are we talking about female transitioning to be a male or a male transitioning to be a female?
Man turning to
That's a
female.
woman getting a period.
They had no
a man cannot get his period. A man cannot.
There's no
Yeah,
way.
they had a uterus. They had a uteral transplant.
They didn't have no fucking uterus.
They had a uteral transplant, dude.
It's not going to function.
You can.
It's not going to function. It's not going to function.
They took it from a woman.
Never mind.
Obviously,
it really doesn't count.
But they 3D printed a fucking uterus. It don't matter.
It's just crazy because like
there's no way it's gonna work.
Even if you do
I
want to
put
do
it inside the Instagram show notes. It is possible.
even if it is something that you want to do, I hope people understand this is not going to make life any easier. Like you still going to
medical news today. Gender does not determine who can become pregnant. People who identify as men can and do become pregnant, give birth if they possess a uterus and ovaries.
When the fuck did that happen? Because I'm pretty sure it would have been news everywhere.
Yeah,
man giving birth. I know
that's what I'm trying to say.
There actually is, dude. As a kid, I remember hearing about. I remember there was
it's been everywhere though, Tyler.
This dude who got pregnant, and it was like a huge tabloid run when I was.
Say that louder for the people in the back, please.
He said it was a woman who transgendered into a man who still had a uterus and eggs and got pregnant. That's what happened.
Well, no, I'm saying that like I just sent an article in the show notes that said a uterus transplant is possible. That's what you guys were saying that they can't be pregnant.
But if somebody with a uterus transplant get pregnant and give birth.
Yes, I will also send the other article saying anybody with a functional uterus can become pregnant.
No, not can. When and who did it?
Holy shit! No, look right here.
Oh no,
the first successful uterus
they were
transplant.
never pregnant. The person I knew never got pregnant. Well, at least I don't know what they're
Look,
doing now.
look. The first
but-
successful uterus transplant took place in Sweden in 2014. To date, approximately 50 have been performed around the world, resulting in 16 live births.
I'm not.
Yeah,
sure
but it doesn't say if it was a man. It
I
doesn't
don't
say
know
that
if they were pregnant.
the uterus.
Yes, bro.
This man was
No,
pregnant to
you're
a
right.
man.
Let me see.
They weren't pregnant though. They never gave
No,
birth. I'm
no.
not saying they were
Marshall's
pregnant.
right. It didn't say it was a man. American women instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
And this is America.
Women
So
also
America.
need uterine like
Yes.
there are women who would like to have
Look,
children.
regardless, honestly, if that's the case, I'm happy for them. I don't have a problem with trans people. You're grown. You can do what you want with your body. It's yours.
Right.
You know what
If
I
you're
mean?
grown, do you. But
This is-
don't be telling kids who need to learn about like literally still like ABCs and big words.
This is
about
what
their
we're talking
fucking
about here.
sex and
This is
Yeah, see that's what's disturbing too, because people like how you guys just showed, giving testimonials about regret or like, the dangers of it all. Why the fuck would you allow kids into that realm? Why would you try to teach them shit like that? That is just backwards. You are not doing anything beneficial for the kids' future or for them right now in the present by filling their heads up with shit that they don't even need to be hearing. And the fact that the state of Florida wants to do that, all the motherfuckers is fucked up in the head. And probably one of them is, with all due respect, probably one of them is transgender, thinking, hey, maybe we should do this. Or somebody back there is influencing, like, yeah, maybe we should push this because, the state should have the right to interject, with a child's well-being, or physicality. Like, no one should ever have any control over a child versus the parents, more or less trying to make them believe that they can be the opposite gender.
What if a parent feels like their child should transition? Like, what right does
that's a horrible parent? That's a horrible parent. Fuck that parent. That parent has issues.
But do you believe the state should be able to determine
yo,
what is?
listen,
and
hey, hold
what
on,
isn't?
Darby.
The parent wants to do it. Go ahead.
That's
They
not
have
what
the
I
right
agree
to-
with. That's not my point. I'm just saying, I'm proposing the point, a libertarian view, if you will.
Yeah, Migs, you walked right into that one.
I walked into what?
You set it up perfectly for Darby to hit a home run out the park.
Now,
with
what
that.
about the school system? You think the school system should be introducing things like this?
No, absolutely not.
No. I
It's
know
schools for
parents-
school. Schools is to learn about education,
I agree.
not about changing your gender.
Okay, but
Like,
when you
it's
have your
stupid.
high
I know a
school
parent-
sex class,
I
when
know
you
a
have your high
parent-
school sex ed class, you guys.
I didn't have a sex. I didn't have fucking high school
No.
sex ed
Listen
class.
to me.
There should be
Listen,
sex
we're
ed in
not
high
talking about high school people who are just about getting ready to have sex. We're not talking about that.
Already having sex.
Right, or already having multiple partners.
Getting pregnant in middle school.
Right. What we're talking about here is an elementary schooler, right? I know of a parent who just went through this. The parent's gonna remain nameless and genderless.
So is a woman.
Hey,
to protect their identity and the identity
It's kind
of
of
the child.
productive, bro. It's,
However,
you
it's
got
the
this
child's
book?
psyche.
Huh?
I'm not a.
I'm saying I feel like it's messing with the child's psyche because the
right.
child's still
Now,
trying to
this
figure
book-
out what is a boy and what is a girl.
I spoke to said parent, and said parent told me that the child in question came home and wanted their haircut, but a little shorter than what they had it because they had already cut it short because they asked for it previously. Now, wondering what sparked this, and all the hints the child was throwing off, the parent, took a little bit of an interest and dug in a little deeper and found out about this book that the child read. And it turns out it's from the library from school. And it turns out that the child was saying word for word to the parent what is written in this book.
Yeah, being influenced by that book. The child was basically being molded and programmed by a book written by someone.
Now the child has since reverted back to the child's ways and is into all different types of shit. You know what I mean? They're not even worried about what they were going through when they were going through it with this book. But when it was taking place, it was a big thing. Just like anything else, children get fixated on things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's because they're
We're
learning
Puerto
literally
Rican,
about
right?
everything in existence, and we take it for granted because we know shit, and we take so much for granted that when they ask about it, we're like, "Oh, it's this." We don't actually take the time to explain or educate children when that's an everyday, constant fucking thing. When they get to the age where they're asking questions about everything, don't be like, "Oh, is that what you want? Is that what you want?" Be a fucking grown person and educate the child and answer it. And if you don't know, guess what? We live in an age where we have supercomputers in our fucking pockets. So don't be so fucking lazy. And if you don't know the answer, be like, you know what? Come on, honey. Let me find out, and I'm gonna tell you. And they'll wait because they actually want to know. And whatever you fucking say to them, whether it's I don't know or some bullshit, that's what they're gonna believe. So it's literally your fault if your child is fucked up. And I don't know if people understand that.
Yeah, but it's still, even
the
still,
child is
no
like a
matter-
sponge. Whatever you present to your child at that moment,
Yeah, they are a sponge. 100.
they're just going to consume whatever is
They're
in
like
the
most
present.
right.
Yeah, they become the environment.
Right? Kids still get hyper fixated on whatever. Now, we're Puerto Rican.
There
over
is
here,
no way
right?
we're ever gonna avoid
You
that.
have all seen Jenna. Jenna is the whitest one in my house. Jenna.
I thought
thinks
I was
she's
the
black.
whitest one in your house.
Based
You're
on what she
She's like,
watches.
I'm not white. I'm black. I'm not white. And they're like, no, you're white. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm black. Like, she's really telling them she's
But
black.
Puerto Ricans
Right.
are black.
She's
though.
right though.
She's right. Puerto Ricans are black.
No. Despite how politically correct,
You're not talking about
she's
race.
right,
You're talking about
because
pigment.
that's how
You
she's
talking about
raised.
melanin.
You
Talking
know
about
what I
melanin.
mean? Right. And
Okay, she doesn't know that.
she's hyper fixated on it. You know what I
Don't let
mean?
her say
There's no you
But like,
can.
yes, she's black,
I'm
Puerto
not.
Rican.
I'm not taking nothing away from her because, like you said, yes,
Is there something
she's right.
that
We're
may
Puerto Rican.
there
You know
is
what I mean?
there
We're not
something
fucking.
that may perhaps be your daughter might want discussing you?
It's okay to be light skinned, but don't say you're white.
But
Yeah.
That's wise advice.
What happened?
I said it's okay to be light skinned, but don't call a light skinned person white.
Yeah, Talon, you white ass motherfucker.
There's a difference, a huge difference.
I probably got family in Buffalo.
Talon's
I've got
whiter
offended
than,
before.
Talon's
Been called
whiter than a Christmas sweater. What are you
white.
talking
I've
about?
been called white before, and I've got offended.
Sounds like I got family in Buffalo. You just hear a phone dial on his end.
Hey, when the song "Dreaming of a White Christmas" came on, Talon walked by.
Gets offended too. Jason gets offended. I told him dudes back in the days they would take me and he'll own slaves. He's like, no, they'll look at my last name. And they ain't asking them their last name.
Yeah, but if you think there wasn't
they
black
are.
slave owners,
They
you're
are.
sadly mistaken.
I didn't say that. I'm
They
just
were
saying,
black slave
like,
owners.
we were on the streets and they were like, oh,
I don't know what the crackers or the niggas did in my
They were
day.
white. They thought they were white.
And if they weren't righteous, they can go fuck themselves.
Well, then that would stop them from taking you. Then you're welcome.
I ain't
They would have
fixated
told me they
on
were like,
that.
"Oh, he's 6'1". Oh yeah, we take it. He gonna be in the fields."
Bro, look, I'm just saying.
This suddenly took a very spicy derail.
It was gonna be
part-
spicy anyway.
This
So
is the part
before-
that's gonna get us
I
lit up.
don't think it was.
This is
spicy.
normal.
I don't-
This is normal for
No,
us.
it's not spicy yet. It's gonna get a little spicy soon. But before we get that spicy, and before we get into the troubles of all of this, what are your takes on this bill so far? On what you know, because right now at this point in time, what I can tell you is that I don't think it's too far-fetched to have a bill like this to make sure that the child is protected until they're of age and they're in the right frame of mind to make these major decisions. And some are going to argue, well,
Are you for the bill or you against
children?
The bill.
If with the information that we just gave to people right now at this point in time, at 57 minutes of this episode, with the information that we know right now, I'm for the bill. How well?
From 2 TikTok videos?
I think you had some sort of drug put into the drink today or something.
That I haven't gotten there yet. What you said, Mach? I didn't hear you. You broke up.
I think you're all crack.
Damn.
No. I just said the thought of children needing to wait until they're the right frame of mind to make these huge decisions, I can get behind. And some people are going to argue, and I know, feel free to at me. I don't care. We can fight. That's fine. People are going to argue that you have to start most of these processes before puberty. That's the best way to do it, I guess. You know what I mean? But
from a medical perspective,
right? But from a fucking not even a parent's perspective, it's like, yo, I can't. My child right now, my child is 14. If she wants to go and get her fucking toe pierced, it doesn't matter what it is, she can't. It's not gonna happen. But she can go to her doctor right now and say, look, I want to be on testosterone because I'm hitting puberty and I want to grow a beard.
But this is what I'm trying to say. That
shit don't work
To be
that way.
fair, growing a beard.
That's what I'm trying to say.
at 16, you can pretty much
No longer a parent.
She'd probably have a better beard than the men in her school because she'd have a cheat.
At
Now
16,
you're no longer a
Right,
parent.
but Mach, there are parents that are saying that's okay. That if you feel that way, then take these pills. So
No, because that's a parent that's saying, okay,
you can look the
I
way
agree
you
with
feel.
you. I'm okay with you. But now it's because
They're just like, oh, you know what? You feel
the
like
parent is
that?
making
I
the
don't want
decision.
you to be so let's just fucking change
Jason?
your gender and make you happy. Why the fuck not?
But that's what I'm trying to say. Those parents, they're deciding for the child. Oh, you want that? Okay. At the end of the day, the parent is still making that decision. That parent is just stupid. You know what I'm saying? But now, when you put this law in, now that just can't.
That's what put that
So
law
you have,
forward for
by
those
default,
Really,
you gotta-
really, those parents aren't just
That's what the law
stupid,
is really for those
right? And they're taking the easy way
Yeah,
out.
they're
It's like it's your life.
unconscious.
You can do what you want with.
No, you
Right.
can't.
Even
That's
though
Yes,
we're
it's
still in
your
the
life.
stage
You
where
can do
I
what you
should be
want with it.
keeping you
However,
up
it is
like
my job as a
I
parent to give you the ins and outs and the rights and wrongs of this world. I'm not
yeah.
saying that gender reassignment is wrong. I'm saying that pushing it, these ideologies
I know.
on these
What you're saying.
children are wrong, in my
I agree with
perspective.
you. I
You
agree
know
with
what I
you.
mean?
I agree with you on that point. I just feel like that some of these parents don't understand that your kids, they're not coherent of what's going on in the world. Now you
Right.
first you're wearing your gender in your sleeve. You know, nobody should really know what gender you are. Period. Like you should just be a fucking kid. You feel me?
Right, right.
And then your sexual preference is another thing that people should know.
So
They know you.
right now, an hour into this, what with the information about the bill that you know, how do y'all feel about it?
We'll go in
Who's going
order.
first?
Macho, how do you feel?
I totally disagree with it. Many levels, I could understand it. I totally understand it. I just don't agree with it. I can see what the bill is trying to say.
You don't agree with the bill?
I don't agree with the bill at all. I don't want the bill to pass. It should pass.
Listen. We're not talking about the whole bill in its entirety, because if it was the whole bill in its entirety, I disagree with the bill also. However, from the information that we just blasted out,
The two
with
TikTok
knowing
videos,
what we
Jay.
know right at this point in time, what do you feel about it? About them needing the child to be of age before it seeks gender reassignment?
No, I don't agree with it. Hell no.
So you think children should be able to make their own decision?
No, I don't. I don't.
So you think
you're confusing me, bro?
You're confusing me, motherfucker.
Your bill is hold on. What the hell?
The bill is to stop kids from getting gender reassignment anything until they're 18 years old.
Oh, I want that bill. I want that bill.
Okay.
I thought the whole time I had everything in reverse. I thought the bill was to allow kids to make decisions on their own.
Right. You thought they were giving the child the right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
No.
Oh, the whole
this bill is taking.
Oh, I thought that.
All right, Dre, how you feel, Dre?
Look, nah, I'm full of bill. Them niggas can't decide for us.
He's fucking undecided, brothers.
Dre, it's on you, brother.
So I agree with the idea like of having the bill in place, but Darby made a great point of what about if a parent wants that for their child, right? What if a parent says, "Yeah, I want this to be a thing for my child"? So now you got to ask the question: Are we going to let the state decide things for us? Like they already do, right? Or are you going to let them decide this kind of thing for your kids?
No.
And that, well, I mean, you really won't have a say if the state is in it. It's going to be the state making that decision for everybody and say, "Hey, you know."
So we take the state to court.
Exactly, right? You're gonna be fighting paperwork and all kind of legality.
Yeah, we're going to war, bro.
And
I'm there every day. I put my
the enforcement is a huge drain on taxpayer dollars, by the way.
I'll stop working. I ain't paying taxes, motherfucker.
What's not a drain on taxpayer dollars? Am I right?
Everything is going to be.
Tyler, what you think, bro?
I think we're walking a thin line here, Cotton, and there's slants to the left, there's slants to the right, and if we don't keep a good focus here, we might find ourselves slipping into some place we don't really want to go. So it's a bold move either way, but we'll.
I agree with Talon on that. Talon, I 100% agree with you on that.
Wait! But you really didn't like say anything,
right?
Yeah.
He's walking a fine line.
You riding the fence, and that's not like you.
Isn't that magical, bro?
Right.
Tell you.
Migs, what you think?
Man, it's just sad, bro. Like the way everything in society is evolving especially with the mental physiology of what everybody's thought process is nowadays. It's just sad. Nobody wants to do any research. Nobody wants to take accountability for feelings and thought processes. So everybody wants to get around it by doing all this other extra wild shit. And then now moving forward, you want to have regrets.
I feel like you're machoing it right now.
What you mean?
Yeah, fine. I hear perfect.
I hear him fine.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it.
You're
machoing it right now. All right. How do you feel about the bill at this point in time?
Hold on. Let me take off my headphones. Give me a second.
You have to take off his headphones to speak how he feels.
Go ahead.
I heard you fine.
I heard you fine.
I heard you perfectly fine too. I think he.
So did I. I didn't mean that as a bad connection. I meant
he didn't say anything about Hitler.
That macho didn't even know what the fuck we were talking about.
Okay, so can you ask the question again?
I know what y'all talking about. I just had it backwards.
What did you feel? Yeah, Mach thought the bill was reversed. But what do you feel about the bill right now with the information that we gave out at this point in time in the episode?
I mean, at the end of the day, fuck that bill. But like this hold on. This does help for those that are in need right now. Like if there are treatments or something beneficial out of this to help those
right. You are machoing it right now.
You are machoing it.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yo,
right.
The bill is to stop kids from making decisions for themselves. The bill is for the parents to still be the holder of all their decisions. If the bill doesn't pass, then kids at 10 years old can decide on fucking chopping.
Then they belong to college.
Listen, no matter how indecisive you motherfuckers may be on knowing what we're talking about, there's one thing that stays consistent. A word from Mark.
Got me addicted, ain't no coke. Let's just have a toast. Anybody want some small? Cause it's up. I be jizzed up. Catch me sipping with my double cup. Can't just have one, you gotta double up. You pour it, gotta watch it bubble up. I ain't gon' lie, I cannot get enough. With Callie said I need another one. Gonna have you coming back for more. But go get it while it's hot. Before it be sold out in your stores. That Disney.
Man, Lauren sounds way different nowadays.
Welcome back.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
If you're just joining us, we're talking about Florida Senate Bill 254, and we was just about to get into the meat of it right after Darby told us.
I'm fucking up.
Darb, I believe it was on you to tell us what your opinion is thus far on what we know. Or what we've discussed, rather.
Yeah, just skip the Puerto Rican, so I get it.
It's not that I'm skipping the Puerto Ricans.
You guys can't decide if you're American, so we'll just skip you.
It's all right. You'll get there. Everybody's going to have another opinion towards the end of the show on what the meat of this really is.
The meat of
I gathered. Oh, yeah. The meat of this is...
All right, Cracker, what's your opinion? I mean, Darby.
Buffalo.
All right. Well, in my honest and entire opinion, I believe that this
entire entire opinion. Save your entire
Don't macho it, bro.
I
Jerry
wasn't
Springer
gonna
moment.
go into essay mode. All I was gonna say is I believe most of this shit is cultural war bullshit, which is kind of nod to my name here. I think most of it is culture war bullshit that is designated by the conservative parties and interest groups / think tanks that are funded by the conservative party and other members of the Democratic Party, not only conservative, are trying to basically lobby and increase divisiveness in voters because America's current election and state of basically political distress. That is my entire and honest opinion about that. But there is one thing I gotta say right here, and I'm not sure. You know what? I'm feeling like I should save the actual bombshell for the end of what the end of the discussion is. This one is about
Darby juice is artificial.
What'd you say?
Darby juice is in fact artificial. There's no way you actually can produce that much juice.
You don't know that.
You were dropping a bombshell, so I was guessing. I'm surprised. I figured that's why you disappear from chat. Is you're just too fucking exhausted.
Too much. No, the reason I've been disappearing from chat is because I've just been like I've been working a lot, doing a lot of shit. Like I was telling Jay, I was up on the roof siliconing, and it's been basically renovating in parts of the school that I work at.
Where he says he's on the roof siliconing is exactly what you think.
Wow.
I didn't realize how that sounded, but yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, walked right into that one, huh?
Nah, he sat right on it.
I think you should just drop the bomb.
Nah, you know what? No, I'm gonna wait till the end of the episode where everybody starts doing their little review and what they think. So come on, let's hear. Let's continue.
Darby, there's never an end to any episode you have.
So let me drop the real meat of this, right?
Please.
Really?
If this bill just said, hey, you have to wait until you're of age to make these decisions, everything would be kosher.
Yeah, I guess.
Put it in a pickle jar. Close it up.
No.
I mean, you wouldn't want to.
However,
You don't know what it'll turn into.
It would ferment.
They're talking about legally kidnapping children now.
Yeah, if you want to spin it that way, which is not
Right,
crazy.
but it's not even if you want to spin it that way, Dre. It's kind of what it is.
No,
you don't need proof right now. So any child, right, can seem like they want to be in that light. Like, I hate to do it, but they're my kids. You know what I mean? I got to use my daughter as an example. She likes to dress comfortable.
Or
she doesn't like to be
other
tight.
kids.
Like a skater girl, basically.
Right. Her pants aren't overly baggy, but they're not tight. Right? They're not
Shirley
fucking
Temple, she
fitting.
don't care.
And she likes to wear fucking t-shirts. She's a t-shirt kid. You know what I mean?
So
if she wanted to, she'll put a fucking fitted on and she'll rock like that. She's a tomboy.
Yeah.
But in school, if somebody just so happens to be a fucking prick and they want to say, she looks kind of like they're coasting her into wanting to be a transitioned kid.
Especially
Maybe she
if
doesn't.
it might be religious, but
Yeah, well, whatever, however you want to spin it. Karen's gonna call, they're gonna report, and as soon as they report, no evidence is needed. They're gonna come right to the crib. They're gonna take the kids away.
Okay, you run that back real quick, like 4 sentences back.
Yeah, we know how good this government is, like keeping track of kids.
They're gonna come, no evidence, and take the kids away.
Oh, they're gonna be waiting, right? They're gonna be
all straight suspicion.
And
right?
Jay, you're making a great point right now to like counter Darby's whole thing about this being a cultural propaganda, because you're right, Darby. The conservatives and the left and the right, they say a lot of things, but their real intentions are dollar signs. But that doesn't mean people are going to not be affected by this in real life. There's somebody's son or daughter who's going to get this propaganda pushed on them, and it's going to change somebody's life for real.
Even if there wasn't the propaganda pushed on them, it would still happen.
Why would you say, Jay?
Even if the propaganda wasn't happening, it would still happen. Like people still transitioned, people were transgender in the
It's all profitable
1600s,
too.
1500s, and 1700s. People will still be
That's
transgender.
irrelevant. That's a
Well,
nonsense.
it's not irrelevant because you're saying how is a counter to the point I was making about being culture war bullshit.
But you're talking about something from the 1600s. I'm talking about children being transitioned today.
Because the conservatives are going to
it's
make
about
a point.
profit.
The conservatives are going to make a point about how the trans and other sorts of people on that spectrum are going to start converting your children into becoming trans people, and they're going to use that. Democrat people will use that too, sort of the old guard of the Democratic. I'm not saying it's a purely conservative thing, but it's Florida we're talking about here.
I have a very real question for you, Darby, because I know you know the rhetoric and such. How would you feel this would fit in a communist society?
What? Okay, hold
on.
Specifically, you have to be very specific with that. Like, okay, are you talking about like sex identity, gender identity? Are you talking about like the
Yeah,
specific
but like this, what we've been talking about. Do you think that it would look entirely different in a communist society, or do you think it would be a
Are you
similar?
talking
type of
about my
societal
perfect
protection?
communist society, or are you talking about like what I actually think realistically what would happen?
Whichever you prefer. Honestly, I'm just curious because I don't know communism.
What the
Whether or
fuck
not
are we?
well enough to make
Are we
either
fucking
one.
playing communist Dungeons and Dragons right now?
No, I'm just curious if his opinion thinks it would be like, because he believes it's part of society. Society is based on a certain type of way, and communism, I'm not just bringing it up to be a troll. It's a different type of societal structure. So I'm
My
curious.
point was mainly political.
Communism is not
My point was
society.
mainly
It's
political. I will
control.
answer your question, but my point was political. It wasn't more so societal. It was just that, like, I think not.
I mean, does politics not shape society, and vice versa?
I suppose. Well, if you want to answer that question, honestly, I don't think that there would be. It depends on the society itself. Realistically, I think it depends on what ethnic group, what the cultural values of the group that we're talking about. If there's multiple different fragments of ethnic groups, or say we're talking about a Yugoslavia communist society and Soviet Union communist society versus a North Korea North Korea communist society, there is a sort of homogeneous and ethnic and religious and cultural homogeneity in North Korea compared to the multiple different diasporas of the Soviet Union and Yugoslavia. So it depends on the material conditions of the nation that sort of communism exists in, because that is what communism stresses, is the material condition. Communism is shaped by the material conditions of whatever the people in the nation exists inside of it.
So you're saying that it's really more of a cultural thing because the communism that you experience in your country is going to be shaped off your culture, sort of.
It is absolutely a cultural thing. That would be considered material conditions in communist terms, the rhetoric as you discussed.
Okay, I was just curious. I wasn't trying to troll because I just know you. Shit.
No, I know you're not. I'll explain it. That's why I
back
said
to my question though,
Sure,
because you can't say, well, there's always been trans people. Of course there has. There's all kinds of spectrums of sexuality for as long as human beings been tracking.
Well, how are you saying it's not used as a political fucking?
I'm not. Well, I started off by saying I know it's being used for political gain, but that doesn't mean it's completely made up. It doesn't mean there's nothing really tangible.
No, there's always truth to every little bit of thing, man.
No, I mean it's a little bit more than a little bit of truth, though. You
Yeah,
see
you're right.
where Jay was just talking about how now they can legally kidnap kids and make them
Jay
have.
was also talking about how propaganda, not propaganda, but like how media and the acceptance of all that stuff can influence people into thinking that kind of thing. When trans,
I'm not just talking out my ass. I believe I have an account from a woman right
You are.
here who
I'm not saying you are.
it happened to her.
Hey.
Nice. Well, you guys start going on Reddit, otherwise Darby's gonna get on.
Passed the bill. They passed the bill that takes away your children immediately, even if there is suspicion, no proof, of anybody in your family or anybody that you have subjected your child to on a regular basis receiving any kind of gender affirming care, which includes even women who cut their hair shorter and appear more masculine or wear masculine clothing.
Wakanda women are pissed.
So we will be losing our
can you
kids
pause it real quick?
if we do not leave.
One thing, hey, Macho, I will let you speak. Just hang on. One thing I wanted to say real quick, Dre, on top of that, I really do think that this bill was just signed by DeSantis to appeal to the majority of super ultra conservative, like rich
Right,
ass
because he's trying to be
fucking.
president.
Exactly. That's what that's. I literally.
Which is
that's the
why,
political point I was making.
millions of Mexicans in Florida are out of a job right now. You know what I mean? There's fucking.
Wait, how
Yeah,
does that
well,
happen?
yes. I'm sorry, and not just Mexicans. Most of fucking Latin America is out of jobs right now, and
Wow, that escalated quickly.
any
I was gonna
illegals.
say,
And it's not.
Yeah,
You know,
here
it's
we
not just
go.
Latin America either. It's Caribbean too. What? I'm fucking Spanish. What the fuck?
I'm listening, Jay. I'm listening.
Anyway, I understand what you're saying. He passed a lot of dickhead bills.
Well, that's my point. It's a political move, and almost
It
entirely.
is. It is.
And
Fuck
that's
him.
that's what makes a great point. Not only that, but there is other things involved with it that I'll mention after this video. Keep playing it, Jay, because God knows what she's gonna say.
I have been weary to share this personal information, but I am personally having one of my children withheld from me right now because of this law. I'm not allowed to talk to her on the phone, not allowed to see her. I have filed for an emergency hearing 3 times, and I am being ignored by the state. I have not been given a court date, and I do not know when or if I will ever be allowed to see her again until she is 18, and I can try to contact her or she can try to contact me. She has siblings, and they haven't seen her. They haven't talked to her.
Produce your children,
And the
man.
state of Florida is doing nothing about this. And I have to leave the state of Florida while there is an open case with her so that I don't lose any more of my children.
You shouldn't speak on it.
So her saying that means her other kids are fucking trans.
What about here's the
thing
about
about that,
what about that thing that first?
Hold on. First of all, that video was bad fake. That bitch is lying. That happened.
How do you? Okay, so you believe the other videos? Why?
Here's the thing on that.
Matt Walsh is a known grifter. All right.
Yo, hold on.
It's on the
Let me add on to what she was just saying. How she has
Sure.
to go to another state.
I'm curious. There's probably plenty of stories, dude. This is going to be used like a witch hunt, kind of like the fucking Salem witch hunt trials. Like now we're just going to be like, oh, I don't like this kid's.
I don't really want to burn anybody.
Nobody's going to burn anybody, but we're going to get sent to Florida jail.
I'm not in Florida.
Let me add on a little bit to what she was saying. How she wants to move out of state to not lose her other children. Now, this is how I know that this video is fake, and I'm just using it as
I know it's fake off rip once you put it on.
Educational purposes, so to say. If she was to be in this situation and she was suspected of letting her child go through the transition, and she moved out of state to protect her other children.
She said she was moving out of state. She's still
It
in
is
state.
whatever, moving out of state, whatever the fuck. It's false, because this bill specifically states that if you go out of state, or let's say she was in a position where her ex-husband or husband or baby daddy, whatever you want to say, fought her for custody of these children, right? And she won. She left the state. He goes to the court system down here. He lets them know that he has a suspicion that his children are taken out of state because they're going to go through some type of gender reassignment. Florida sends out a warrant. They'll go to the state. They'll supersede any custody hearings, and they'll take the children away and bring them back to Florida.
Florida.
I feel like that, depending on where it is, it would get a lot more complicated very quickly.
Listen, first of all, in the video she says she's gonna leave out of state to protect her other children. So she was insinuating that other children are transgenders too. So
Right,
why?
but this is false.
Hold on. And this is how I know she's lying, because when they took the first child, they would show the other children that were trans, and they would have took them too.
But even if those other children
She
weren't
just lied.
trans,
She's fucking piece of
even
lie.
if those other children weren't trans, they would take them away just under the suspicion of their being influence in the household, per the bill.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. She pulling a Sophie's choice instead of trying to get her kid.
That's it. It's still her fucking kid.
She's doing a Sophie's choice instead of trying to get her kid back. Like, why would you consider that? I'd be trying to get my child back, not be like, well, I guess I'll cut my losses.
Right, but what she I didn't let her finish, but what she says towards the end of it is that since her daughter was transitioning, she doesn't have the right to have any contact with her daughter. The state keeps her into foster care until she's 18. Then
she said that.
She can have contact with her.
Yeah, I heard that part. She said that. My thing is this: if she's influencing her kids to become what they are, she doesn't deserve to be that. She doesn't deserve to be a mother.
I think the fact that child services in and of itself are fucked does not help the situation.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. 1000%.
That's another
I don't
thing.
believe
We're really gonna trust child protective services with all these cases as well.
That's
But
the
where are
problem.
you
Like,
putting
there's
these
so many
children?
problems that exist on a systemic level on different
Right,
angles
and we're just
that
adding
affect
this on top of it.
Bro,
And
the
it's like,
foster
we
care
could do-
system in Florida is horrendous. Not to mention the United States foster care system.
It's deplorable, period. Most of our systems are deplorable, and they're definitely fronts for slush funds, I'm sure. But everybody's a part of it because it really doesn't make any sense that you can have the same motherfucking problems for decades and decades, and can't nobody figure it out anywhere on any motherfucking scale. That just doesn't make any sense. That just means that we keep putting it, essentially hiring. We say voting. We are hiring these people into these positions, and they are fucking up every fucking time. Every time on every single level. And it's not just the president, it's everybody in government fucking up.
Idiocracy?
They're not.
We're heading there. We're definitely heading that way. It's
We're getting
clear as day. But like, it's at a point where we can just hold the people that we see in our city accountable. And if they are more afraid of what their city will do to them because we know where they live, maybe they'll stop being so fucking useless. But I don't know. I'm not saying we should, show up with pitchforks. I'm just saying, let your fucking local people know who you are and how you actually give a fuck, and maybe they'll be like, "Oh,
They don't.
Carl's Jr. has deemed you unfit for parenting. Hand your child over to Carl's Jr.
Here's a big fucking fry to help you with your depression."
It's not fucked up. The system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. They just telling you something different, so you think, "Oh,
you are correct.
broken."
It is working perfectly fine. It's just it's supposed to work broken.
No, I don't know what that means, but
it's not broken.
Exactly what it's
like. It's
make it
inefficient
seem
and
like
shit.
it's
It doesn't
broken,
do
and really, what Dre's saying is it's doing what it's meant to do.
It's like
it's a
what
form of
Corona showed in the show, the bureaucracy state that they had.
So
That's
why
exactly
should
what
we
it
agree
was.
with this bill that this fucking stupid retard in Florida wrote? Like,
that's kind of what I'm saying.
Allowing
You
your
have
children,
retard making calls that really shouldn't be doing that.
Hey,
at 9 years
Darby,
old.
Darby, you want to answer? Because
just
you might hate conservative politics and the right and all their.
I hate liberal politics too, actually.
Yeah, but you're definitely angling.
Nah, my angle for tonight is towards the right, but I definitely hate liberals.
It's usually the right, but
I fucking hate liberals.
To answer your question, is because the slippery slope bullshit they push got some truth to it. So when you allow one thing, another thing is coming right up behind it, and another thing you never even thought was possible is going to be made legal.
I don't think it's almost as malicious as that. That's a good point, but I think it's more so just like I think DeSantis just passed this bill because look at me, elect me as president.
We're gonna go around one more time now, knowing what the real impact of this whole fucking bill is.
I got a question, Jay. I got one more question. What do you think? What do y'all think of the drag queen story time and the drag queen story hour shit?
Fuck that shit.
Okay, yeah, I knew you were at.
I kind of feel like that's part of that whole book thing that I had up on screen. It's part of that whole I'm gonna put this out there into it. You know what I mean? Before, I don't know if you could call it taboo, and it's not. I don't want nobody to think that any of us on here are transphobic because
I am. I don't. I'm not gonna hide from that. Like, seeing people hide.
Why are we talking about drag queens in the first place?
Don't play stupid.
No, seriously, I'm just curious. Like, what's the connection in your guys' opinion?
Because, well, I'll make the connection for you because you should have got it by now. No, hold on. Let me make the connection for him, right? So we're talking about this agenda being pushed on children, right?
Right.
So when you might have remembered when you were in third.
Do you think those drag queens are bankrolled and financed by anybody?
Can I finish, please?
Sure.
You might have remembered when you were in third grade, fourth grade, and the police came to the school and they taught you about 911 and they taught you to call emergency services in case anything happened, right?
Yeah. Army too. Yes.
There's a function for that. It makes sense for the police to do that. I'm not pro cop. I'm not going to sit here and tell you back the blue, but it makes perfectly good sense.
Police, yeah.
It makes sense for the police to come to the school. It makes sense for the firefighters to come to the school.
How do you feel about Army though? Like,
it even makes some sense for the NBA player to come and read books to the kids in school, right? There's a function for that, right? It makes some sense. What purpose does it serve to have a bunch of drag queens reading to third grade class?
What's the purpose of having the Army and other armed forces?
Ain't no Army recruiter came to you in the third grade classroom.
Not recruiter. It was like people. It was like Army like pretty much like demonstrations or like a service member comes in and reads stories to kids.
Bro, the only person I had come to my elementary school was RoboCop.
ROTC, bro.
Yeah, okay. If you're talking about an exhibition of American patriotism, cool. If you think there's a problem with that, fine.
But that I can make that same problem I have with that equal to kids. I don't think kids should be around the U.S. or be exposed to the U.S. military until they're 18, unless it's not that they should be like basically just.
You're taking a different point though.
That's not a different point. It's a similar point. It's like
there's no recruiter going to an elementary school trying to recruit kids, bro.
No, but there's exhibitions and other sorts of like military things that happen at schools. I had one that happened at my school when I was a kid. Not a recruiter, but they're not.
I understand what you're saying.
A little bit.
What you're saying is vague. What did they do? What did they say? They told you that they were in the Army. They told you to support the United States.
Yeah, no, it was basically just kind of like it was on Veterans Day, and it was just like a bunch of service members coming in telling us about their experiences. Not like graphic, bloody experiences, but just like.
So what's the problem with that?
I think the problem is that we're exposing children to the U.S. military, which is a tool for one of those strongest ruling elite in the world to crush and cripple multiple.
Every fucking place does that, and some places way more aggressive.
And I think it's disgusting.
Thank you, Talon. Because in other countries,
sure, Talon, you're right. You both may be right, but I personally think.
No, I know I'm right.
Okay, that's just a natural form of patriotism.
Okay, so hold on.
And I fucking
depending on how
hold on.
So
I think nationalism. I think nationalism and patriotism is shitty.
All right, so it's
bad. Ironic because it's very common for marches to occur.
To try to put out there for you to defend it, right? But it's not bad for you to push trans ideology on small children.
I think it's also bad to push military or any sort of army doctrine or experience on children as well.
That's not, nobody's pushing army doctrine on children, bro.
Okay, but then what's your definition of children? I think in middle school,
creating an appreciation for veterans is not pushing that you should join the military. It's that when you grow up doing whatever you do, don't disregard these people for what they do.
It is if you think the military and the U.S. establishment is fucking entire bullshit.
Do you recall the experience and how it made you feel in the moment?
Nah, I just was kind of like, oh shit, another assembly. At least I get to fall asleep.
So you're telling me
I didn't sleep, but it was more so I was just sitting there.
Okay, I was going to say, don't fucking tell me that you use an example that you actually slept.
No, that's just how I was with almost every assembly. Every assembly, I just sat there and was like, just kind of zoned out or just.
To be fair, that means that you weren't actively listening, which means you probably missed out on things that would frame it in a better mind. Maybe there were notes. Maybe there were notes of
We had a lot of
inspiration that they
assemblies.
put that maybe said, "Hey, I learned a lot going into the military, but it's not necessarily for everybody, and so you should make sure that you take the time you need in school to figure out what you want to be. And if you want to be in the military, you should join because it's an
You
amazing
are missing my
experience."
point that I don't think anybody should be exposed to that or offer that option until they're over the age.
Right, and you're wrong because then you're gonna make a pussy ass nation with no fucking support of itself when it needs to defend itself.
That might be cool. That'd be cool if America fell.
And see what you heard perfectly deflection, because propaganda for the military, you don't gotta like it. I don't care. I don't really like it either. I can't stand watching an NFL game and they have some Marine out there talking about, oh, I got
that all you can be.
Hey, listen, that's fine. What's the purpose of having drag queen exhibitions in a third grade classroom?
Well, I actually never answered.
It's not at all.
The thing I believe in is, honestly, I don't believe that there's really a point in having drag queen writings for children.
There is a purpose.
However, if I think of an establishment chooses to have it and a parent chooses to bring their children to it, they should have the choice to bring their children to something like that.
So you think you think
I
it's
don't
okay?
support it. I wouldn't bring my child to a drag queen reading thing, but I'm just saying that if people want to have the option to bring their child to a drag queen reading,
Is it wrong that they're even hosting it for children though?
I don't give a shit. That's my point. Like, it's like people should have the option.
Yeah, people, but little kids are not people yet. They're literally learning how to be.
Right, so let me put it this way, Darby.
Hey, listen,
How would you feel if your child's school, right, set that up without you knowing?
I wouldn't care.
So your child was exposed to it without your knowledge.
I wouldn't care because I wouldn't care if my child was exposed.
What if
to
it was a
knowledge.
trans-military recruit?
But you just said that you would take.
See,
You just said you wouldn't
the
take your
military
child to a
recruiter thing, I
person.
would take a bit of offense to. That's the funny part.
See, you're
What's
fucked up
Jay?
for that.
but
You're fucked up
you
for that.
yourself
Because
just
all of a
said you
sudden,
wouldn't
is
take
there
your child to one.
trans-militaristic?
But you're asking my opinion, though. You're asking what I feel
Right,
about
but you're
it, and you
contradicting
know that
your
I don't.
opinion.
Contradicting in what way? I don't like the
You
military.
just said you wouldn't take your child to one, but wouldn't care if the school did it for
I
you.
wouldn't take my child to one because I wouldn't want to spend the resources and time and money and gas money going to bringing my child to a drag queen reading thing. If
it was next door, though, that would be fine.
Even if it was next door, it's not like I wake up one Sunday morning and I'm like, I'm gonna take my kid to a drag queen reading thing. It's more so.
Because there's no purpose in it.
There's
no
but
reason
if
for it.
somebody else's children wants to do that, and somebody
It's
else
the
does,
reading rainbow.
somebody else's parent wants
Do
to
it
do
because
that.
you feel like there's no reason. There's no.
For me,
purpose.
no. Yeah, for me, no.
So that's it.
But
That's
for
it.
somebody else's parents, then why should I feel like that they can't do that? Because
tell you
of
what.
some phony
Why?
bullshit
Because
about protect
I
the kid?
would take
Your child is sharing the fucking
my
world with that
kids to
fucking
one
child.
because I have all girls.
Wait, what?
I would take my kids to one because I have
To
all
a drag-
girls.
To a drag show.
Not a show, a reading like they did for the kids.
No, there's no.
A lot of them already-
Full-fledged fucking show.
a lot of them
And
already-
afterwards, you can take them to the furry convention.
Well, my point is not.
That's still gonna confuse your daughters, bro. That's still gonna.
Well, guys, hang on. A
confuse your
lot of them
daughters.
aren't even like pushing trans agenda. A lot of them are just reading books because drag
Wait,
queens
wait,
are
okay.
cool
So-
and they're almost like clowns.
Their presence. Their
Me, as a
presence
mother,
is pushing
me
the
as a
agenda.
mother, I would not take my daughter to a drag thing. I would not.
If you're reading Green Eggs and Ham in an SS
Not
uniform,
a show.
Exactly. Their presence itself.
Show, no matter how you
Just
see
their
it.
presence.
So what-
Jay, I think you need to understand.
Trans
They're-
or not trans, it's an adult show. It's not meant for children.
Exactly.
Point blank, period. If it's men, if it's women, if it's men dressed like women, it doesn't fucking matter. It's an adult show.
right? If you turn
You're gonna
18
take them to go see a
and you
burlesque
decide
show
to
with women
go,
dressed all in fucking lingerie and dancing on section.
No, but that's
And-
sexual. But
and
that's a
it doesn't matter
sex.
if they're
It's
reading-
not the same thing.
It
It's
is.
a reading.
It's the same
It's
thing.
a reading
It's the
because
same thing, Jay.
now you're talking
Jay,
about
it's
not
the same
letting your
thing.
child go to Universal
It's the same thing, Jay.
Studio and go see the ugly stepsister in the Shrek Land because that's what they're portraying.
Yeah, but did you realize what you just did was make such an obscure reference to something? Like your kids are gonna have to go to school. You don't gotta bring your kids to Universal Studios.
Up in the arm right now. You know what I mean? You're trying to.
I'm just saying.
You're trying to be right. That's what you're trying to do.
Listen,
your kids have to go to school by law. You can't be like, oh, unless you have homeschooling.
I'm just saying.
Take your girls because they're girls. I'm the mother, and me, the mother of your fucking kids. I would not take my kids there. They don't belong there. That's not a show for them.
Especially seeing how they was
It's not a show. I didn't say it. I never said.
You want to know something else fucked up?
I never said I would take
you
them
want me
to
to
a show.
contradict your point right now? DARE was something that was put into classrooms throughout the entirety of schools, and DARE was
I got a lot of cool shit from DARE.
DARE was statistically proven to actually increase drug rates by exposing children to the proper method of using and disposing of drugs.
I don't remember shit but a frisbee and a free shirt, my guy.
I don't remember
DARE. My AIDS.
I had DARE in my school.
I do remember seeing it.
And my girlfriend, and my girlfriend was just texting
I lose my
me that she
virginity
had
until I was
drug
20.
sniffing dogs go through her
I didn't want to
classroom
get
when
AIDS.
she was in elementary.
We're gonna get super fucking off track. What are your thoughts on the whole episode, Darby?
You want my whole thoughts on it? Well, here's the bombshell I've been waiting to drop on all of you, I guess you could say. Over 120,000 children as of 2022 face psychological or actual biological, gender, physical distress that may result in whose gender/sex identity differs from, or whose gender identity differs from their biological sex. This is Komodo Inc., which I will tell you the exact statistics reference.
Okay, here comes the bombshell.
Yeah, it referenced over 42,000 children aged 6 through 17 diagnosed with gender dysphoria last year. And it found, through the 5-year period from 2017 to 2021, found at least 8,822 children had received a diagnosis within that period of time. Now, people are wondering, why are these rates increasing? Is it because the Liberal and Democratic Party are trying to fund, this breakthroughs and whatnot? No. What's happening is that trans awareness is becoming more apparent. So that is one thing that's happening, on top of the fact that there are a significant number of people in the world, this is just America alone, that are born with genuine deficiencies, not only on their X and Y chromosomes, but something that could be actual psychological disorders where they might actually need puberty blockers. That's one thing. There's even more children who suffer.
Funny how you can't say that the other way, but continue.
Say what other way? What? I'm confused. No, I'm down. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean the other way, Talon?
That's what I'm saying.
That this isn't maybe they really need this because they have a psychological condition that's keeping them or making them feel this way, and it's like if you bring that up, that maybe you just have some type of mental issue going on. Yes. You don't need to cut your dick off.
But you're misinterpreting what I said by psychological issue. When I say psychological issue, I said both psychological/biological or physical issue. Psychological doesn't mean, I feel like being a woman. Psychological could mean that you specifically have wirings in your brain that could make you feel or actually act feminine, or have hormonal cycles, specifically hormones in your body, or glands, like some people are born with ovaries despite being a male. These things they're not rare, but they're not, they're not.
They're very rare. Don't say they're not rare.
I just fed 120,000 children as of 2000.
That's not a fucking number.
Children there are in this country. play the percentage math game.
You said 120 something thousand. The fucking government lost 15,000 on the border.
How many children in America? There's about 22.9 million children in America. 120,000 is a drop in the bucket. That's my point, is that there's even more children who actually take something called puberty blockers, because a lot of children suffer from early onset puberty.
Okay.
I
can't have anything to do with the foods that we get.
Hold on. So if you take a child right now, you say you never present to him, you homeschool him, you never present to him a different sex.
What are you saying?
I would say, yeah, you got to fix the mic. Folks did some research.
Because I generally want to hear what he wants to say. I'm just trying to understand him, man.
You get it.
Go ahead, folks.
While we waiting for that audio fix, Jackie Blackie, what you think about the episode in its entirety? The whole 254.
The whole kit and corn macabre.
All right, I guess We're moving on to Mr.
Monsieur Wolf.
General Lissimo Good Guy.
He's Italian.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, my fellow Goombas? So my opinions are that I'm intelligent enough not to state them on here nowadays because I don't really care to share them. I would speak with people privately about it, and I have the wherewithal to really do that. And I've been mostly trolling and playing both sides at certain points. I do think that, generally speaking, and I've stated this before, there is a very poor sense of self that exists today, and it just consistently gets worse and worse. And it may or may not be associated to this, it may not, but I feel like it is such a deep connection to so many different problems people experience that if we dealt with that, I wonder what type of things would occur, and if the people who really do transition and such would actually just be, cool with it and not be so focused on making sure everybody was aware of their existence. Because unfortunately, there's more to life than how you feel about yourself and how you like to fuck and who you like to fuck and how you feel about fucking. There's other things to it. Like, how are you as a person? What do you do to produce and make yourself happy, to make others happy? Like, there's things to life that exist that are far more important than that. And if you're so caught up in that aspect, I promise you, there's something within yourself you need to deal with, so that way that will just be an attribute of yourself as opposed to what you are. Because if that's what you are and that's all you live, guarantee you're running from a lot of shit, and that may or may not be a result of it. Doesn't mean that it is, but it probably could be. And if you haven't dealt with that aspect of yourself to where you really know who you are, you really dealt with that shit, you probably shouldn't cut your dick off. But I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Right. Nice way to skate the lines. March, did you get that audio situated?
I'm a fucking magician, nigga.
That was whack, man.
I just think that it's all bullshit. It's all just for propaganda. It's for profit. It's for everything. It's everything just to better themselves. Depopulation as well.
That's fair.
Jay, your one friend on the Instagram said the perfect point. It doesn't matter. Whoever's pregnant mother will still get the cigarettes.
The dad will get the milk.
Dre, what's your final thoughts?
I'm gonna say the same thing Macho said. It's all bullshit and propaganda. And nobody really cares about a problem or what could be conceived to be a problem until it's actually there, right? It's like in football, right? It's like in football, nobody cares about special teams and their kicker until the kicker misses the kick to win the game. Nobody gives a fuck about no kicker. But when the kicker got to kick the field goal to win the game and he misses it, everybody's like, "Oh man, our kicker sucks." You didn't care about the kicker. And it's like, and I use that to say that's how it is for a lot of problems in society. People don't care about a lot of these things until they become a real issue for their everyday life or at their front door.
Word, our special teams suck.
It's just like I was thinking about it. Like it's kind of fucked up on both. Yes, because it's fucked up that they're able to come in there and take your kids. Like I wouldn't want that for anybody. I just feel like that's bad parenting. You shouldn't be letting your child do like that shit. You should just be like, all right, you want to be a boy, you want to be a girl, that's fine. You can do that, but we're gonna wait until you're 17 or 18 so that you can do that transition. That's just
right.
Yeah, and it's really that's really all.
Like explain it to just explain it to your child. Be like, yo, listen, I love you. I don't think you're a girl, but okay.
And another thing I want to say is like when I said I'm transphobic, I say I'm transphobic because I realized to that group of people, when you tell and you say out loud you don't want to have sex with them, they take that very seriously, right? It's kind of like I don't care being called any kind of phobics or any phobias, because when you deny an entire group sexual access to you, they're gonna harbor resentment. They're gonna hate you because you said, "Oh, you don't want to have sex with me." Yeah, I don't. You're not my type. And that's
right.
Once I heard people say, "Oh, well, you're transphobic for that," I said, "Well, I guess that's what it is. I guess that's what I'm gonna have to be, and I can live my life perfectly."
Right. I guess if it's in
Not a
those
lot of
terms, I guess
people.
I
Not
am
a lot
too.
of people are labeling you transphobic for not wanting to have sex with them.
I've seen more than enough say it. I think I'm gonna be able to say, "That's what I am. That's what I am."
Are you gonna deny his experience and gaslight him?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not denying his experience. I'm just saying that's not a lot of people who are going to do that. I've met quite a few trans people myself, and none of them are like, "Dude, you're transphobic now. Let me want to suck your dick, bro. I want to suck your dick." That's not.
That's crazy because I never said that anything like that.
I'm
either.
not saying you're saying that. I'm just wondering. Like, I've never like
you've never heard anybody say that. That's interesting.
No, really. In personal experience, because I've met a few trans people. I even described one to you earlier.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, what I think the bill is shit. It's just another way to take our children away legally.
It's just another way for people to get involved in other kids' lives outside of the parents, and it's fucked up.
Bro, it falls into the other episode we did that we got banned for, right? That shall remain nameless. They're just trying to take our children legally and put them in the system and create more chaos. You know what I
To be
mean?
fair, though, if you want to
At the end of
dominate women's leagues, just transition your son.
Yeah, cut that out.
At the end of the day, just let kids be kids, man. Let live. Children need to be children. Stop trying to push it on them. If they want to do it,
if your children need medical treatment,
that's
please
fine.
Right. If you're gonna do so, they can get properly abused. You know, at least those people are traumatized and have money, as opposed to those who are just traumatized and poor or broken on the street. You know, think about your kids. Traumatize them to success. That's a failure. You know, that's what you want to do.
Bob Saget wouldn't let that happen in Full House.
At the end of the day, what the fuck?
I appreciate you for watching Bob Saget, because you're right. He wouldn't have done that. He'd have been like, no. The only type of transition we're having is the little girls into dolls, because he actually did that
At
shit.
the end of the day, love yourselves and love each other.
Fucking girls, because